All right, so today's story time is a bit of an interesting one. It's kind of like two stories in one, and the greatest revenge story ever told. So I hope you enjoy this. Please leave a like on the video if you do. And before we get into it, I also want to say I'm streaming on Twitch right now when this video goes up. So if you're watching this in the first couple hours of it going up, hit the first link in the description. I'm live grinding camos on COD, wanting to rip my hair out, facing kids with riot shields. Anyway, let's get into the story time. So this story time really starts off in first grade. I know you're probably looking at the title and then hearing what I'm saying and being like, bro, what the hell are you talking about? Don't worry, you'll understand soon enough. So in first grade, I don't remember a whole lot. I really only remember my teacher's name and a few key things that happened that year, and this was one of them. I had this person in my class, this kid, that sat right next to me. Let's just call him Devin. Devin was a demon. He was a little piece of shit, okay? I was so cool with everybody in my class in first grade, but Devin was just like this absolute little dickhead of a child. He used to fuck with everybody. He would bully everybody in the whole class pretty much besides like one person he was friends with. He had like one friend that he chose to be friends with and the rest he hated. It's not like people didn't want to be his friend. Like people literally tried to be friends with him, including me, and he would just be mean to us for no reason. Like literally, he used to just like throw shit at people and like cuss people out in the first grade, which was crazy. And I gave him so many chances. I can't tell you how many chances I would give this dude and try and be friends with him because I felt bad for him and I knew how hard it was to make friends. So I just like kept trying to be his friend, but he was always super evil to me. And then one day he went too far. So one day I'm sitting in first grade, normal day in first grade. We're working on some class project. Everyone had to get in groups of 2 or 3. I was with Devin, of course, because he sat right next to me, and I had no other choice because we didn't get to pick our partners. And of course, in classic Devin fashion, he's doing none of the work, and he's letting me do everything, and like laughing and like fucking with me while I'm doing it, and just being a troll. And then halfway through the project, I'm gluing stuff to the paper that we're working on. Like I had to glue like different little like arts and crafts stuff all over the paper. And at this point, I'm not even paying attention to Devin, right? I'm just looking down, gluing stuff to the paper. And there was 2 things of glue next to me, okay? One that I was using and one that Devin was supposed to be using. And I didn't realize it, but Devin picked up one of the glues. And before I could even realize it, I had glue all over my hair. This little fucking demon of a child picked up glue and put it all over my head while I was working on this project. And I had really long, thick, curly hair. I still do. You guys have seen it before. But especially as a kid, it was really thick. And it took me a minute to feel it hitting my head. So a lot of glue was on my head by the time I realized it, right? So I look up at him and I realize what he did because he's holding glue and laughing, and I feel it dripping down my hair. And me being in first grade and having really no self-control, I wind back my fist and get ready to punch him in the face because I was, upset about the fact that he poured, a quarter of a thing of glue in my hair. And, rightfully so. And just as I'm about to hit him, the teacher sees this and runs over and breaks it up. And at this point, the whole class saw me, they start laughing at me, and I was humiliated. Now, a few months later, Devin ended up leaving my school. His parents got a job in California, and they moved out there together, and I never saw Devin again. And I remember thinking, well, hopefully in California he becomes less of a shithead. Good luck to him, I guess. And that's the end of the part 1, okay? Now, part 2, fast forward many years later, after school, after I'm out of high school, I'm pursuing YouTube full-time. My channel has over 1 million subs, and I move out to LA. At this point, I'm 19 years old. I got my first apartment in LA, and I'm living good, right? I'm having a great life, right? I'm doing good for my age. I'm doing good things. My family's proud of me. I'm happy, right? Now, the first month living in LA, I didn't have a ton of friends. I had 2 or 3 people that I knew out there that I hung out with consistently. And literally in the first month of living there, my friend hits me up and he's like, yo, we're going to some bar tonight. Do you want to come with us? Meet a couple friends? And I was like, yeah, man, for sure. So like an hour later, my friend pulls up. He picks me up. He's with 2 of his friends. We go to the bar together as a group. And we end up meeting up with some people there. Like they were trying to flirt with girls and stuff. And, it was cool. It was cool to meet some new people. I'm not really a bar person, but like, it was cool. And while I was there, I was sitting at the bar, kind of just, talking to a friend. And this woman comes in and sits down right next to me. And while me and my friends are talking, we're talking about YouTube and stuff and just a bunch of things like that and social media. And this woman next to me kind of like chimes in and she's like, hey, do you guys do YouTube? Because I overheard your conversation. And I was like, yeah, I do. And she goes, oh, my son watches a lot of that stuff. Like he's really into the gaming stuff. What's your name? Maybe he knows you. I was like, oh, it's Luna, just Luna on YouTube. And she's like, oh, cool. I'll definitely tell him about that. I'll text him right now. So she ends up texting her son my YouTube channel, and he ends up saying that he knows who I am. Like 20 minutes later, he texted her back. And she was like, oh, wow, that's really cool. Like, he knows who you are. Like, how many followers do you have? And we just started talking about what I do. Then I start asking her about what she does. And she tells me she works at this office. And she, like, takes orders for audio equipment. She, like, works phones. And we're just talking about each other's jobs. And we kind of start flirting a little bit. I can't lie. Now, there was a significant age difference between me and this woman. She was 41, she told me. And at the time, I was 19. So, you know, over 20-year difference. So, kind of crazy. But 19-year-old me didn't really care, and she didn't seem to care either. So I was like, fuck it. I'm feeling it. So we keep flirting. And within 2 hours, me and her are just like really, really hitting it off. And we end up agreeing to go hang out back at my place. Now, we end up having a wonderful night, okay? I'm not going into detail, but you can guess, okay? You can guess by the title. All right, it was a great time. Had a lot of fun. It was cool. And I kind of got bragging rights among my friends. So I thought that was kind of cool too. But after me and her hang out most of the night, towards the next morning, at this point it's like 4 or 5 in the morning, we're laying in bed and we're just talking before she has to leave. And, you know, we're just talking about each other's lives, getting to know each other even more, still having a great night, right? And I asked her, I was like, so where are you from? Are you from here? Have you moved here from somewhere else? And she's like, no, I'm not from here. I actually am from New York. I moved here a long time ago. And I was like, really? So am I. Are you from downstate or upstate? And she's like, I'm more upstate. I was like, yeah, me too. Where from? And she tells me the city. And it's the same city I lived in when I grew up. And I was like, huh, me too. How old's your son? She's like, same age as you. I was like, wow, what's his name? Like, I wonder if I know him from back then. And she goes, oh, his name's Devin, and then says the last name. And immediately my brain goes into overdrive. I was just like flushed with this feeling of, holy shit, that's the kid that poured glue on me in first grade. And I look her in the eyes and I'm like, holy shit. She goes, what? Do you know my son? I was like, oh, do I? We went to first grade together. He poured glue on my head. She goes, that was you? I was like, yup. And she goes, oh my, this is so weird. This is so crazy. I was like, yeah, tell me about it. Now, the craziest part about this whole thing is the kid knew me from YouTube as well. He was a supporter, and he didn't even know who he was supporting. He didn't know that I was the same kid from first grade that he dumped glue on and fucked with 24/7. So she ends up FaceTiming him after she finds out, right, that I knew him from when I was a kid, and which made it so much better. He answers the phone, and the first thing he says is, holy shit, Luna, dude, like, nice to meet you. And I was like, hey, man, nice to meet you. He goes, so, I guess you and my mom have hit it off a little bit. I was like, yeah, you probably don't remember me, but we knew each other a long time ago. He goes, what? What are you talking about? I was like, first grade, you dumped glue on my head. He goes, what? That was you? I was like, yeah. Yep, that was me. He goes, oh, well, long time no see, man. I was like, yep, long time no see, you motherfucker. I didn't say that, but I did say long time no see. But after I told him that I was the same person he dumped glue on, he looked like really, really like awkward in the face and like really, really embarrassed. But, you know, it was just a fucked situation. There was so many twists and turns to this entire situation that I still can't wrap my head around. And needless to say, I got the best case of revenge. So, yeah, in the end, I won the battle against Devin. I won the war and the battle. But moral of this story is, I don't really know. I don't know. Don't dump glue in people's hair. Be nice to people. Yeah, I guess that's it. Anyway, guys, the story time's a crazy one. I thought you guys would enjoy it. I hope you did. Me and Devin's mom actually hung out a few more times after this, and I haven't really talked to her in a couple of years, but we did kind of stay friends throughout me living in LA, and then when I moved back to New York, I kind of lost touch with her. But Devin, I don't really know what he's doing nowadays. I haven't seen him in real life since first grade, and that one FaceTime call, I guess, if that counts. But I don't know. Hopefully he's doing good too. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this story time. If you did, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below. And subscribe if you're new. I'll see you guys all later. Peace.
Baby, I'm damaged. I cannot plan this. Won't you be mine tonight?